Hello, in this video, I'm going to do a quick reflection about the second set of student data and that I recorded and some of my observations of how to work with the students. I'm working with four diverse learners. The diverse learners are three of them. They comprehend more through auditory learning. So for them, it's either someone reading the material in a small group or them reading it themselves. And so in the small group, what I did this time is I pulled the students all away from the class, and that helped a lot. I noticed that the data improved tremendously the first week with having small groups that were isolated from the full group because it gave the students a chance to actually focus more on the material, to answer questions, to think critically about some of the content, and to actually apply it to their real world setting. So that's one of the biggest takeaways that I had from pulling the group and working with them in a quiet place. And so here, as we look at the data, I did find that most of my students made improvement. We actually reached our goals of 5% uh, um, mastery in ELL vocabulary, and a few of them did meet it in collaboration. So specifically, what I found is that three of my students, they do learn more auditorily. So we were reading a novel in ELL. So I had those. I gave them choices to to read, and what I found is that as they and most of them never read in class, so pulling them in a small group was a definite plus. Giving them that one-on-one attention and giving them an opportunity to actually read it, it seemed as if it added value to them. They felt more included, and they were more motivated to actually to work. So I work with all four students. Three of them, they worked really hard. They were actually much more collaborative in the lesson. Um, and I saw that with them reading, they all had opportunities to read in the small groups, and that actually gave them a chance to think critically about the material and go deeper to kind of apply it to real world knowledge. I found that working with them with the auditory, it really pulled out their comprehension skills. So I'm going to do a lot more of that in the future. Also, I did find that one of my students, student number two, he didn't do much reading, but he benefited from listening in a small group because for him, I had to work with him one on one. So he did a lot of listening as his peers began to read. And when I asked him open ended questions that kind of helped him to dig deeper, he responded auditorily. And so that his process of learning was he had to listen to it, he responded auditorily, and then he was able to write it out and go a little bit deeper with demonstrating his mastery. So one of the big takeaways that I had with this data is to really focus on the first skill of learners development, because it really helped for me to pull them smaller and to actually analyze exactly their learning styles. So that helped me out a lot. um, I'm working with those students. They all have autonomy in terms of when they can participate, and I'm kind of in the small group. It's sort of like more of a competition, so they're actually a little more excited and motivated to learn. I'm giving them a PBI, positive praise. That helps out a lot. We also had an opportunity for them to sit in a different style, a different setting. So I gave them bouncy chairs and things like that, so they could actually it could help with their ADHD. So I found out that the movement, actually they had the bouncy chairs helped them where they didn't have to take as many. Actually, they didn't take any breaks. With the small group, we went for 20-30 minutes at a time, and the bouncy chairs helped a lot. I originally started with some fidgeting things, and that didn't work at all. It just served as a big distraction with their hands. I know that it probably helped them in terms of relax, but it didn't help a lot for their focus or their comprehension. So I'm working on that. Um, One of the things that I did learn is that this small group, having them to actually, it's kind of difficult for me to have them to really sit in a centered learning environment. So I'm working on that's kind of a weakness of mine. I need to know how I can work with this group because they're not used to it at all. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about towards the future. How can I change the style of learning and move them from teacher centered to student centered. So we're working on that right now. I'm having them to do more collaboration, which is something that they're not really used to, but not on a regular basis. So pulling the small groups helps out a lot. And that's pretty much it. This is all of the data has really informed some of the things that I'm doing because I'm seeing that focusing on their learning style and their learning development and really differentiating the instruction, giving them accommodations with printed material, highlighters. It's all working in their favor. So I'm going to keep doing some of those things and see what I can do more with the student-centered learning. My last learner is a student with dyslexia. So I did a couple things with him with some worksheets and some printed material. So I'm going to see how that works. I have to take a little time to learn a little bit more about who he is and to develop a rapport with him. But right now, we're on a good path. Thanks.